Good evening. Let's do business now. I am Beverly Broohm. The Ghana cedi continued its good run against the US dollar for almost 2 weeks as it sold at 12 cedi 60 pesos to $1 US on the forex or retail market. This coming after it recorded a little over 17% depreciation to the world's most important currency in January 2023 alone. Here's a report.
The local currency has recorded about 2% improvement in value to the American greenback this week alone, signaling to investors that the government is progressing with its domestic debt exchange program. However, the same cannot be said about the cedi's performance against the euro and the pound, as it has declined slightly against these two major foreign currencies. Analysts are, however, optimistic that the currency will maintain its strong momentum against the US dollar if the government shows strong commitment in stabilizing the economy through prudent fiscal management. The cedi gained a marginal 0.78% value to the American greenback last week to trade about 12 cedis, 85 pesos to $1 US.
Away from the cedi, managers of Osu-Kuala, Masmat at 37 and cantonments were the latest to fall in the grips of the Ghana Revenue Authority for tax evasion. This part of measures by the authority to enforce the electronic VAT law. Other managers who were picked up were managers of Palace Mall at Laboni and Kuala Center at Laboni, all in Accra. There's more in this report.
Hey, what do you want to do?
This is a continuous exercise sanctioned by the Commissioner of Domestic Tax Revenue to boost compliance on the electronic VAT initiative. The managers of 37 Maxmat, Kuala Osu, Kuala Laboni, Palace Mall at Laboni, Maxmat Cantonment were arrested after some engagements with the officials of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Their offences include failure to issue electronic VAT, duplication of signatures on VAT receipt, among others. There was a bit of hesitation at the Laboni Kuala Center and Palace Mall at Laboni when the managers appeared to affect the arrest. Here is Accra Area Manager of Enforcement at the GRE.
Of course, the cases are many and varied. The infractions are many and varied. So it depends on the manager and the case that we built against that particular shop. Because there are different shops at different branches. So you could even have the same company, but the infraction is different because the infractions are happening at various locations. So that's what is happening. So each case is being looked at separately from the others.
So if that's the case, like you mentioned to us the last time, mention which particular station or center and then their offense.
Yes.
So like 37 Maxmat, their offense, cantonment.
All right. We are looking at Kuala, the Osu branch. Non-issuance of EVAT invoice. Then with Kuala Cantonment branch, the same offense. And then Maxmat, the same offense. And then Palace Shopping Mall, they were duplicating the signature. Yes. And then the last, which is Maxmat, also the same offense, non-issuance of the EVAT invoice. Yes.
He has also been explaining the tax laws under which the offences were committed and the appropriate penalties.
We are looking at the sections of our VAT Act and then the Revenue Administration Act. When you look at the VAT Act, the prescribed sanctions are under Section 58 and Section 59. And I can give you the maximum penalty units that can be applied is 1,500. That's the maximum. And each penalty unit is 12 Ghana cedis. And if you look at the imprisonment that can be levied on you, that is not more than 5 years. That is what is applicable under the law. That not more than 5 years. These are the maximum, the streams. Yes.
The managers have been handed over to the Criminal Investigations Department for further investigations and prosecution.
Now, Ghana has secured almost $9 billion in total revenue since it started exporting crude oil in April 2011. This was captured in Ghana's petrol accounts at the Federal Bank of New York. But how has the money been spent and what is currently left in the account? George Riafe has the details.
The account showed that the revenue came from oil liftings and corporate taxes, as well as other income since 2011. The report revealed that oil liftings from 2011 to 2022 got the country a little over $7 billion. Other receipts and taxes gave us almost $2 billion. But how were these monies spent? Well, the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation took $1.4 billion as equity financing cost. $1.1 billion went to support its oil exploration needs. $3.4 billion had been advanced to support the country's budget and projects identified over the past 20 years, as well as help in stabilizing the economy over that period. So has the almost $9 billion all been spent? Well, the answer is no. This is because $828 million is currently in the Ghana Heritage account at the Federal Reserve Bank in New York, while on the other hand, $1.9 billion was put in the Ghana Stabilization Fund. However, there has been some significant drawdowns on this account over the years. But for some, the question is, could we have gotten more than what has been reported with Ghana's petroleum oil accounts at the Federal Reserve Bank in New York?
Well, international research and market information firm Fitch Solutions has expressed optimism of a likely International Monetary Fund board approval for a program for Ghana in the first quarter of this year. That's according to its latest Sub-Saharan Africa macroeconomic update. Fitch Solutions' assessment is based on the analysis that Ghana has made significant progress for the domestic debt exchange program, a key condition for the $3 billion balance of payment support from the fund. Mike Kuninga is a senior country risk analyst at Fitch Solutions based in London.
The first thing I should say is that our core view is that the IMF Executive Board approval will happen over the coming weeks, so in the first quarter of 2023. Should this not happen, we would expect investor sentiment to remain rather weak over the coming months, which will put additional pressure on the exchange rate. So in that case, the currency will depreciate much, more significantly than we currently anticipate. So what would happen in that instance is that inflation would remain much higher for much longer, right? And this would then weigh on real incomes. It would weigh on overall private sector activity. So in this instance, economic growth would likely come in much weaker than the 2.9% that we're currently forecasting.
Moving on, the Association of Ghana Industry says its members within the beverage sector are unhappy about the surge in water tariffs, describing it as retrogressive. According to Chief Executive Officer for the association, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, a tariff increment of 316% and subsequently 172% for its beverage sector and the industry will have dire consequences for the industry and the Ghana Water Company. He however asked the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission to maintain its beverage sector companies in their industry category. He was speaking at a press conference.
However, notice the principle of equity was largely missing in the major tariff review conducted in August last year for water, where a particular customer category was being asked to bear a 316% increment in a single tariff review. Indeed, our beverage companies and the industry have always belonged to the industry category of water users. Surprisingly, the last major tariff review in August 2022 saw an introduction of a new end-user category, that is commercial bottled water and drinks category, which is quite alien to the PURC Gazette. Indeed, the increment for this consumer category alone was 316% over and above the 21% average increment reported for water. This is the new category our beverage companies within industry are being unfairly reassigned. We acknowledge the water tariff reduction from the 316% to 172% subsequent to our meetings with the PURC, but this is still unbearable. We do not think the creation of a new consumer category addresses the challenges in our water distribution system. Such astronomical tariff increment in a single revision is retrogressive and shows no empathy for Ghana's ailing industrial sector. We all need to wake up to the looming collapse of local industries, which hold the key to job creation and our economic recovery. We think it's unfair for the PURC to demand a significant share of revenue from industry whose cost of service is much cheaper. And I will have the opportunity to explain this. We urge the PURC to make public the real cost of service for each consumer category to engender transparency and fairness. With the foregoing, AGI is calling on the PURC to maintain its beverage sector companies in their industry category, which has seen increment of 48% in water tariff already.
That's all for business tonight. For more business news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I'm Beverly Broohm, and I leave you with news making headlines on the international front.